Good evening. My name is Obindako. Welcome. I want to share my thoughts on what I call monitor your expenses. Monitor your expenses and write what you spend. Monitor the expenses. Write what you spend. There are little um, skills, little things that people do that separate their financial successes or problems from those who may have different problems to deal with. Money does a lot in this life, and if you don't have the little practices right, you tend to become frustrated all your life, or you tend to become a thief in order to have what to eat, in order to have a certain level of lifestyle, in order to come out to people as you, because all of us want to be successful at something. Now there are very little things that most people in our country, even around the world, work to be paid. They work for salary. Very few people are running big businesses where they don't have to worry about money at all. In our country, the average salary, I think, maybe most people are paid 500 cedis or 1,000 cedis. I don't know how many people are paid 200,000 a month or 20,000 a month in that kind of economy. And for me, the rent that we pay, the kind of expenses that we make in this kind of economy, the salary is not good, but somebody is taking $2,000 somewhere. Their rent is also that it's not that cheap, and it's not that cheap living in some of those areas. So I usually don't compare what people receive beyond the continent, or in our country, as to, I moved to London and I was making £1,000 a month, and then your friend is here making 500 cities a month, and your friend is like, oh, if I were be in London. What you may not know is that money that they are making there, they are barely surviving. So there are little things that we all have to learn, and if probably we get them right, they will help us to at least monitor our finances and be able to do some of the few things that we want to do with our lives. And so monitor your finances. Write down what you spend. Majority of the people take salaries. That's the fact. And most people complain so much about how much little they receive. And some people say that the money that comes in is nowhere close to what goes out. So what goes out, or what they have to spend, is so much that they have nothing to save at all, which are all legitimate. But when I was a child and up to now, I don't know anybody who was being paid, say, 2,000, and who within 10 years have been paid 50,000 per month. If you are receiving 1,000 a month, it's likely that within the next 2 years, if something dramatic or drastic or miraculous does not happen to you, you're not going to receive 100,000 a month. So you still have to develop some kind of skills to live the life that you have, and to especially keep your morals and your Christian life or your religious belief intact. Because even though a lot of people try to trivialize some of these things, money and ethics and things like that, but they have everything to do with your religious beliefs. Let's face it. If your skill in money is that little, you tend to become a thief. And once you're a thief, or once you're doing some things that are not ethical, they affect the kind of relationship that you think you have with your God. So, but if you knew better, if you knew what to do to at least live within your means, then you will not be greedy. Because sometimes it's not that people are bad. It's just that the information is that little, and they still have to live as humans. And so monitor the finances, or monitor your expenses and write down what you spent. Uh, Beyond the people who are employed, there are a lot of people too who do some things for themselves. They have a shop, uh, they go to the farm. Um, people. There are a lot of people who go to the market. They sell tomato, they sell fish on the market. There are a lot of things that most of our people do for living, and they also receive a lot of money. They receive the money, but very few people have something that they write to monitor where the money is going. And if you have to have, let's say, a partner in business, and especially when you start, because I usually don't really talk about a company that is well established, where so-called well established, where they have accountant, they have the bookkeepers, they're doing things rightly. Supposedly, they tell us a lot of it is just software. But let's say that those are not the people we are talking of, but we are talking about 60, 70, 80% of our people who just have to handle their own money. Even if they have a company, even if they have a business, even if they have a shop or they have something, they still have to do that kind of thing for a while before the business can employ somebody to take care of the money. Even that, if you have an accountant, you are as the business owner cannot sit back and leave everything with the accountant. A lot of businesses have gone through a lot of stresses, a lot of problems, because the owners who are eventually responsible for every mess, when the accountant messes up the business or messes up the finances, their employees, if they are employees, they can easily walk off. You may have to just pursue them and sue them, but the damage, you have to handle it yourself. So you have to monitor where the money is going. And if you don't monitor, you have an exaggerated opinion of how much you have. And most people, if they don't really monitor what goes out of the business or out of their pocket, they assume that what goes out is that much later. Even in the family, it's the same thing. Some husband and wife, they just start to pay the thing. So they are going to the market, or they say, oh, take 100, they take. The other one is the child is going to buy Indomie, take 20, they take. Electricity, go and take this. So at the end of the week, at the end of the month, how much did you spend? A lot of us don't qualify to give the exact answer. Why? Because it is that much difficult for you to have the discipline to track the money. 100%, I don't think is even possible. But if you're able to even track 50% of that, what goes out of the family, out of the business, out of whatever you do, it will give you a fair idea as to where your money is going. Because there are some skills that if you don't qualify, becomes difficult, because majority of us don't make the millions monthly. Majority of us within the thousands, within the 500s, within the 2000s, and if the money is not there, you're tempted to steal, you're tempted to lie, you're tempted to cheat, to keep to put food. You have to put food on the table, and if your morals are not that much strong, what would you do? You cheat and lie, and to have some kind of livelihood. So track where the money is going. It's so important. Track where the money is going. It's so critical. You can do that with maybe an exercise book every day. I remember when we started to do something for ourselves, I will print some kind of Excel sheet, and I will write everything that goes, or everything that would go out of what we were doing. If we were to buy MTN credit card, I will write it. If you were to buy fuel, I will write it. At the end of the day, you come back, you sit down, you try to track something. You try to see something. Where did the money go? And you'll be amazed that at the end of the week, if you put them together, you see that it's a lot of money. And if you put them together monthly, it's a lot of money. If you put the whole thing together in a year, it will amaze you how much money went out of your business or the family. So it will determine your financial successes or your financial struggles. The people who don't have to monitor their finances are those who are in the billions. And even that, before they got into the billions, these are some of the things that they were doing. If you're able to monitor these things well, the money, it will decide your growth, or it will decide whether you don't grow. So, and the sustainability of what you're doing, financial sustainability, the financial success that you want to have, you should be able, at the beginning, be able to monitor where the money is going. Money is used by all of us, and a lot of us lie on it, a lot of us cheat on it, some people even kill on it. And yet, when it's coming, it's nice. But when it's going, they go quick. And so if you don't have a trace of where they go, they will bring a lot of fight in the business, a lot of fight in the family, a lot of fight everywhere. Some people take major project. Let's say they want to build a house, and the money just continues to go out of their pocket. And you ask them, so at the foundation level, how much did you spend? They say, no, me, I don't know. If I decide to track it, I will have my heart will faint. So I don't want to, I don't want to track it at all. Just give them the money and just go and sleep. So it takes a lot of courage to track the money. I think that you should track the money. You should know where the money is going. It's a skill. Even if you are not able to do 100%, do something. Do 10%. Do 20%. Do 30%. It's inconvenient. Some of them you may not remember, but you still have to write some things down. Right. Reflect on it. So today is a Tuesday. Let's say if you do it weekly, yesterday you should have a book that you say that, okay, yesterday I have a shop. I paid this, I paid this, I paid this, I paid this. You write everything down. We are not talking of keeping track of what comes in. I'm talking of keeping track of what is going out. What is going out, because a lot of us we just trivialize that. The cost of doing business is normally or the cost of living is normally underestimated. It's normally underestimated. It's just like business. Life itself is business. If you think you don't have a business, you're living. Money comes in, money goes out. And that's life. And so if you don't track it, you just say, oh, me, how much do I get? They pay me 200 Ghana, so what? I mean, it's not enough. So what do you mean by float? No, track it. It's a skill. Yes, it's important you get more, but it's also important that you develop that kind of skill to be prudent in where the money is going. So much important. Money goes out of the business at a very fast rate. Money goes out of your pocket as a person at a very fast rate. And if you don't track it, just have some exercise book, some dictionary, some diary somewhere, write something down. Write something down. If you don't track what is going out of your business or out of your life, the money will go out and you'll be shocked where it went. That's why some people say that anytime where did it go? They say that I had to do, and I say, it's not like that. It's because it's a scale. It's a skill that you have to have. So your fuel, if you don't have a car and you use the public transport every day, how much do you spend on, say, the trotro when you're going to work and when you're coming, when you're going to the market and when you're coming? How much did you spend? Do you have an idea how much you spend on trotro every week or every month? Do you have an idea? If you're a single man, you don't have any child, any wife, anywhere, you still eat. You go to the watch joint. How much did you spend? You bought credit for, let's say, MTN credit, whether it's data or for voice. How much did you spend? Did you write it down? Let's say you buy shirt every 2 months. Do you have the amount that you spend? Because at the end of the year, just as companies give report on their expenditure, they give report on what came into the business and what went out. Did they make profit or they didn't make profit? You should know how much came into you the whole year from January to December, how much came in and how much you spent. And so from, say, we are in today is the first day of May. So do you know how much you spent in January? Do you know how much you spent in February? Do you know how much you spent in the other month is March? In April, do you know how much you spent? And can you categorize them? Which were the top 5 things that you spent your money on? Can you track them? So the trotro, the TNT, the car that you repair, the DVLA that you had to renew, the insurance that you had to renew, the car, the brake that you had to change, all those, you should track them. Don't ever say that I don't, because I don't think majority of us really are in excess of money. I don't think so. Very few are in excess. The other ones who are in excess, You know it, and I know it. Very few are making millions every month. So if the money is coming to you genuinely, you would be the one who would want to track the money, because then you can know whether you are living beyond it or you are living below it, and whether you have to do more to bring in more, or whatever that you want to have. So the internet that you're using, you spend money. Write it down every day. Write it down. The phone. If your phone breaks down and you send it to the repairer, they take 300 from you, 200 from you. Track it. Track it. If you can't track every penny, at least track a certain percentage of what you spend. It's very important. Very important, because in business, especially when you give you give money to somebody to do something for you. You give them 20,000, 50,000, or 10,000, and they said that all the money is gone. And you're like, but I just gave you the money. How come that? Then you start to suspect the person. You think that the person is a thief, or the person has been stealing your money. The person may not be a thief. Just that the money, when it's going, it goes faster than probably when it comes in. And it's all over. It goes fast. So if you are not the kind of person who would want to track it, write it and say, okay, I spent this today, I want to track it. I spent this today, I want to track it. And every week you put them down. You add them. You say, okay, I spent 1,000 this week. I spent 2,000 the other week. You know how much is coming in, and you also know how much comes to you. So that it start to make sense to you. Because if you don't have the money done rightly, you tend to, compromise and or live a kind of stressful life. And money decides a lot of things in this life. It actually shows a lot of, the character that people have. If you want to test somebody, give them money or give them power. Somebody who is trying to be that much humble and respectful and quiet, just give them 10,000 to say that, Massa, go and do this for me. Go and buy this. Just test them, maybe 1,000. You see, that's where the rare character comes up. Because the rare discipline of an organization, of a family, of a person, of a country is seen in how they handle their finances. So the personal level, same. If you have that much discipline, how you make the money and how you spend the money, it will be seen there, because it has to do with all the values that you represent. The guy who is on cocaine is money that he's using to buy. The guy who is helping some child in school is money that he's using to do. So your money will actually give a kind of a trace on the kind of person that you are. If they give you money, what you spend on shows a lot of the kind of things that you stand for. So you are going to spend, and sometimes if it's a business, you are going to spend on the insurance, the Senate, the taxes. You're going to spend there. You have to keep track of them. Even if it's you are selling the thing on your head. Income tax people, sometimes they ask, kiosks in town, pay income tax, AMA will come, pay this. Write all of them down. Because at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you'll be looking for the money. And you will think that somebody came to steal that money. And it may never be so. Just because you've not been practicing to see where the money is going. It's so important. If you rent your office, you rent your wherever you stay, you track it. How much did you pay for the rent and for how long? If your bulb is not working in the house and you have to change it, you use money. Whatever. If the children are going to school, you spend. Write it down. In the business, electricity that you're paying, write it down. The water that you're paying at the office, write them down. I'm talking of not the so-called organized businesses, not so-called business with bookkeepers and, finance people. I'm not talking of those. Majority of us are not in that kind of category. Majority of us are employees. Majority of us are small business owners. If you can master this, then you can master the money as well. At least the one that is going out. So study it. Don't just say that, oh, me, I'm a teacher. Small money that comes to me, what do you want me to do? That's why we tend to overspend. They pay you first, maybe they pay you at the end of the month. The second week of the month, everything is gone. And where did they go? Do you have a paper to show where the money went? No. So how do you know which one to reduce and which one not to reduce? If you start to write them down, you will know which one to reduce, which one is not important, which one is important. And maybe what you have to do to bring in a lot of the money, the food that you are eating. The food that you are eating every day. You go to the market, or the whoever goes to the market, the clothes that you are changing, the barber that you went. Every activity, it's like everything takes money. So why would you not want to track the money? If you know how to use the computer, at least, or if you have a phone, you can type. At the end of the day, even if you're tired or early in the morning, track everything that went out of the business. Track everything that went out of the family. Whatever you're spending, have a setting, because if you're a good steward, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, in the middle of the year, you should know how much money has gone out of you. Even if it's not the exact figure, at least there should be some kind of representation, how close it is to the reality, so that you will know. It's not like you think, because a lot of us think that we don't get money at all. A lot of us really think that we are poor, especially those who maybe are not paid big salaries. They think that they are very poor. But at the end of the year, if you put everything that you spent only on MTN credit, you'll be shocked. Only on MTN credit. The money that you send to the market, the money that you use for the TNT, you'll be shocked how much that came to you. And if you're not tracking it, then you will not be able to have a strategy to get in more, because they come to you, they just go. They come to you, they just go. And you just, the money that you gave to the church, you have to track it. The offerings that you're giving, the tithes that you're paying, you have to track them. The funeral that they say come, you are going to the funeral. Some of us, we live in the city, and maybe you come from another place, and every now and then your people are saying come for funeral. Every time that you go, it's expenditure. If it's 100 Ghana that you spent, write them. At the end of the month, you see how much you spent, and you can even look at each item and see how much you spent on this. And you can easily take some of the items to say that this one, the next month I am going to reduce it, or I'm not going to do it again. So do track the money, monitor it every day, write it down, buy an exercise book. Whether you have business or you don't have any business, whether you're employed or whatever you do, the money that comes to you and that goes out of your pocket, write it down. Even if somebody gave it to you, write it down. That's why we become dishonest people. That's why we become, we self-destruct, because we have weak skill as to how to handle the money. Our skill is not that strong. So we is a lot, especially those who receive money every day. They think that they will continue to have money all the time, which is good, but it's not like that. You should know. If you get revenue, if you have a shop and the money is coming in every day, you have a provision shop. Every day 200 Ghana comes in, 1,000 Ghana, 10,000 Ghana comes in. And then you just take anything from the shop and you just go and, you are the one that, or the prophet will come. They say, oh, take 2,000, then you give it to them. Another one will come, take this. Another one will come, take this. Everybody will come, take this. Your party will come, you give them money. Do you track it? Or you don't track it? If you don't track it, it's the business that you're killing. You're killing the shop. You're killing the shop. And you cannot replace that with all the magic. You're killing it. So every day, what comes out of the business, what goes out, check it. And at the end of the week, if you are that much disciplined, check them as well. Check them as well. Put all of them together. Track the money. You're not saving the money, you are just tracking it. It's important. All the top organized families, organized businesses, organized individuals, they don't leave their money like that. They don't leave their money, because every activity on the set that you're doing, there is some kind of exchange of money. So you would want to upgrade that skill. You would want to upgrade that skill. I remember when I was somewhere schooling and I was working part-time, every money I will put it, I'll write it 1 this, 1 that, 2 this, 3 that. I'll go to the market, I'll write it. Didn't have enough, so I had to write everything. Until you are in the hundreds of millions, you're still not rich, so you have to write them. When you're talking of the wealthy, if you are less than 50 million cedis in your account somewhere, or you are getting that kind of money every month, you are like every one of us. Don't say that you are rich. Track them. You're not rich yet. And don't let people just use all kind of things. Oh, you can be happy without money. Money is not everything. Of course, air is not everything, but you need it to live. Nothing is everything, you know. So don't just make excuses. Write them, track them, because they bring a lot of peace and a lot of composure to you. If you know what is going out, you're able to discipline to make some decisions. At least you can also have a budget. Sometimes at the end, let's say this is the first week of the month, you can also have a budget for the family or for the business to say that this month, this is how much you are going to spend on fuel. This is how much you are going to spend on salaries. This is how much you are going to spend on trotro. This is how much you are going to pay on internet. This is how much you're going to pay. So you have a projected figure for the month. So you will know that maybe every month we are spending 5,000 at the office. You know it. Outside salaries. You know it. So you work within and see where you have to reduce the cost, where it is unnecessary that you have to reduce. And that's how if you have a project that you're doing, or you have a business that you're running, that's how you also are able to track those who are stealing from you. Never believe that they don't steal from you. They steal. You may not just be aware. Somebody somewhere that the money goes to, they take something. Especially if you don't have straight structures, somebody is benefiting from you. So if you're tracking it, you may be able to do some projections and some predictions and some comparisons to know where the money is going. You will always be able, at least if you're not exact, you'll be able to have some kind of data to deal with. So use Excel. Use Excel. If you have some laptop somewhere, use Excel. Monitor the money. Don't leave it like that. Don't think that it's just going to come. It's just going to come. It's not just going to come every day. It's not going to come every day. Don't believe that. At a point, if you are wasteful, it will start to reduce, because those who are stealing from you, they are not going to stop like that. They're not going. So sometimes people are fighting for more, which is good, but the waste is also very high. The waste is that very much high. It's like the way they tell us, oh, companies should pay taxes in Ghana and the tax net is too little, but they also don't talk about the waste. I think that when you are trying to take all the taxes, you also talk about the waste. What is the waste? How do they use the money? Are they accountable, or we don't just care, just give the money? No, it's not just give the money. They should also, if they are that much organized to be telling us why we should be responsible citizens, they should also be able to tell us where the money is going and the waste that they are stopping. The waste that they are stopping. So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about monitor your expenses. Monitor your expenses. Write what you spend. Write them down. Write them down. Most people are employed. They live on salaries. So a lot of us too are subsistent business people, traders. You have a farm. You go to the farm every day, or you have what kind of business that you have. A lot of the things, they come to you to take the money, and you give them out like that. Maybe your business is at the beginning, it's at the start, or your business is still small. You have done it, but it's still small, or you even see a lot of money every week, every day, but you don't monitor. So when people come to you, just put your hand in the bowl and give them some. Especially the Christian women, those who are praying, and they pray at the shop every day, and these public preachers will come and declare all kind of things on them, and they just take the money and give it to them. I don't think that they write a lot of them. So they just think that once they give the money to the man, God will continue to bless them. But the same God asks for accountability. He's even asking you how you use your time when you die. So how much more your money? So accountability is very good. It's clear. So don't just, yes, even if you are going to give the money to somebody, to your church or to whoever you give money to, at least write them, keep them, track them. Have a book that you're tracking everything. Have a project, something that you're always looking at. What is going out of this? What is going into this? Don't just throw the money away like that and think that, oh, a lot will come. No, sir. The scale, if you don't have that, then you will not go to the next stage. You will not go to the next stage. Very few people are billionaires, big billionaires. And even those, a lot of them still continue to monitor their money, track their money. And those of us who are still in the thousands, if you're in the thousands and they pay you 2,000, what do you spend the money and you don't know where it is going? Keep record of it. Keep record. You should be able to open your laptop or your phone and say that in February, I spent this kind of money. I sent this money here, I sent this money here, I sent this money here. In March, I send this money here, I send this money here, I send this money. You are working. You see, the salary that they are paying you, the business that you're doing, the revenue you're getting, you're actually trading your time to get that kind of money. You're trading your time. It's your life that you're spending. Because if you don't go the 8 hours, they won't pay you the 8 hours. So it's an exchange of time, of your expertise, of everything that you represent. Let's face it. And so why are you going to just dissipate the money that comes without tracking it? It doesn't matter how much important that activity is. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you should be able to pull out the data every now and then to say that last year, January, I spent this much on this in the family. I paid this kind of school fees for the children. And the best thing is that if you're able to do it daily, you'll be able to pull the day, maybe 2007. If you were doing it back then, 2007, this is how much you spent. And you can store all those. It is good. It's not just what comes in. It's also what goes out, how you handle them, how you keep track of them. It's important because a lot of people have money. A lot of people have money. But they have no idea how much money went out. And so at the end of the month, you're looking for the money and you don't remember that it went. Because if you get up in the morning, at least the average person, you take truck to wherever you work. That will be 2 city or 3 city or 5 city. And then you eat. Probably most people eat, the big men, those who are telling people that they have good jobs. They eat 30 cities a day. Don't forget that. 30 cities on food in the afternoon. In the morning, they still eat. So those kind of boys, they are eating maybe 60 cities a day or 70 cities a day. So if they work for 20 days, you multiply it and see. That's about 1,000 I think. So it's 600, 10 days, every 10 days they are spending 600. So for 20 days in a week, which most of them work more than 20 days, you are spending 1,000. Now, you probably buy shoe every month, nice watch, your phone, and what again? You go to the movies, you probably buy books as well, which is good. You have to buy books, and you go to church. If you go to church and you pay offering, maybe every Sunday, you pay maybe 10 cedis or 20 cedis or 50 cedis. That's also another kind of money. So if you go to church twice a week and your offering is 20 cedis, that is 40 cedis a week. So times the 4 weeks in a month. How about your tithe? You do that as well. How about all the other things that you pay within the month? So even if you are paid 5,000, you see that at the end of the month you have nothing. You have nothing, and you may not be tracking them. And so you are happy with the fact that they pay you more, which is good. I think that they should pay you more. They should pay you 20,000, 50,000. But beyond that is, how is the money spent? How is it spent? How is it taken care of? Because if it's coming in and it's not being controlled and managed well, then it doesn't matter what comes in. So track it because it virtually is your life. So if you work at that place for 5 years, it's your life that you have traded. Do you have something to show? Because there are a lot of things that if we had the little wisdom on money, you'd probably be able to change some situations in the business, in our personal lives as well. Because when there's financial situation, it is a situation. And so monitor the money. Don't fight over the salary so much. But the one that comes to your hand, how do you monitor it? How do you manage it? because it will determine your financial successes. And if you're successful financially, I think that, and you're the person who wants to be honest, wants to be ethical, and you are not greedy, there's that much little chance that you would want to cheat people and lie to people. You come out as a clean person. But some people are clean. The only thing is that they're clean, but the thing is not coming. So if you send them, or you send money to them to do something for you, they are always in red. So what do you think? They'll do something with the money. They'll take something out of it. But maybe it's not because they are evil. Maybe it's not because they are not a good person. Maybe it's because they are always in constant difficulty. And not because money does not come to them, but they don't monitor what comes to them and what goes out. And what is going out, those that they can stop. So it's a financial scale. If you monitor that, you can do a lot. Countries that succeed are very much disciplined financially. That's why they are succeeding. Countries that struggle, it's because the financial discipline is not there. The financial discipline is not there. And the financial discipline, when it's there, you monitor it. And with the discipline, you can easily also even solve a lot of the troubles that come out of the challenges that come to you as a business person. And if it's not the practice, you would want to learn how to practice it. Because even if you have somebody in charge of your finances in the business, you're still the one responsible. It's your business. If there's trouble somewhere, everybody will run away to be you. It will be you. So track every penny, track every city that comes and that goes out of your business. Track every one of them. Don't just lose. If you are not composed, if your thoughts are not together, you overlook the money. And then that's where the challenge will start to come in. And so a lot of us will see money. You monitor it this year. If you start to write it down, let's say maybe you didn't do it in January, maybe you didn't do it in February, maybe you didn't do it in March, maybe you didn't do it in April. You can just have a rough figure. But today is the first day of the month. Yes, May. If you decide to do it in the 5th month, from now to December, we have about 7 months to go. You'll be amazed how much money that would have gone out of your pocket. And if the money that goes is tracked well, you'll be able to stop a lot of the activities that you don't need. So because cost of living is not coming down, it's continuing to go up. The rent is not coming down, the food is not coming down, the school fees, they continue to increase it, the electricity, maybe the government is trying to manage it. Money goes out of the business. That's what people who start business fresh start to overlook. They think that they just project, I want to start that business with 1,000 cities. Sure. That 1,000 multiplied by 10 to be 10,000. You'll be shocked if you start to track them down. Because you're going to the office, even if your office is in the house, you're going to eat. You're going to go and print something. You're going to go and write some letter. You're going to post something. You're going to send some email. They all will take money. So the money is in constant flow out of the business, out of the family. One of the children will be sick. One of them will just go and hit their head somewhere. It's all coming. The school fees will come. Then the school fees, they try to change it all the time. Somebody else will get sick. There's always some kind of emergency somewhere. That's part of living. So if you don't track them, at least have a fair idea that we are a family of 3, 4, 5. This is how much goes out of this family every month. And on the lowest scale, maybe 2,000 goes out of it. And then when you check it, and you check it well, then you will see that sometimes even the fight is unnecessary, because the money is actually going. Nobody is stealing the money; it's just going. So so if you don't track what is going out of the business, it creates doubt in yourself and in the people that you work with, or in the family that whoever you have with in the family, it creates doubt, because then there is suspicion, because nobody is monitoring what is going out. And you're acting as if you have tens of millions, and most people, they are paid in the thousands. In our country or around the world, most people are paid in the thousands. Very few people have millions. Okay, and then even the millions, if you don't have a lot of the millions, you still want to think about the money all the time. And the people who are controlling even a lot of the wealth, they are that much disciplined. to track what is going out of their business or out of their home. So, do you know how much you're going to spend on fuel this year? Do you know how much you're going to spend on repairing your car or taking the trotro to wherever you go? How much you spend? Do you know how much data you are spending, how much data you are using, how much internet you're using on Facebook, on WhatsApp? Do you know how much you're using? Because you've got to spend anyway. There's something that you're going to spend. But the ones that you're spending should bring increase, should bring improvement. You don't spend a lot on the comedy, the things that don't increase you. You should spend on things that bring you, that makes you strong, that makes you go to get more. You know, the things that will expand your knowledge, your skill, will make you get more. That is where I think that expenditure really should be towards the things that will increase the one that is bringing in the money. You know, so in a business, the expenditure should be more on that which is increasing the sales, which is bringing in the project. That how you are able to bring in more. That is where the expenditure should go. You know, so you know, some families, for instance, will spend a lot on the party, a lot on the ceremony, a lot on the funeral, and all those expenditure. You know, you spend on those, but they are not bringing in more. It's a waste. A lot of them are waste. Not every one of them, but a lot of them are waste. Once in a while, they are important. But I don't even think that if you're poor, and if you're poor means that you are always don't have enough. You know, there is always, you worry so much about the money and you don't know what to do to get more. In that case, that is the most important something that you have to solve. The poverty takes your joy. Poverty kills people quick than any other thing. It's poverty, I tell you. Poverty. Poor people coming from poor countries die early. It's a matter of fact. You look at the life expectancy around the world. The rich countries, they live long. Why? Because they have better healthcare. Their roads are good. People can sleep a little better. The rich, they live long. You can debate it, but that's a reality. People die because of bad food, bad sicknesses, things that don't have to kill them. Somebody goes to the hospital, they say malaria. Why should malaria kill somebody? Let's face it. Why should malaria kill somebody? Why should cholera kill somebody? They said that the woman was pregnant and and then the woman died. It's poverty. A lot of things. We lose a lot of people. They call them sicknesses or accident or the things that they say. But a lot of them, not every one of them, but a lot of them are just because of poor infrastructure, poor health systems. You know, people, you know, a lot of it has to do with lack of funds. Lack of funds. Lack. A lot of it is lack. A lot of it is lack. If you have a lot of money, you eat well, you drive good cars. You know, there are some accidents when you have, based on the impact, some cars you survive. And there are some accidents because you are driving a very weak car and small car, you just and you're gone. What killed the person is not really the accident. It's the fact that the car that the person was using was not good. Not everyone, but majority of them. A lot of the road accidents that we have in our country, I can tell you, people are dying on the road because of funds, because a lot of it is poverty. Major highway, major road from Accra to Kumasi, and the cars, they are single. They just part like that. What if you had a lot of money as a country and you had your priorities right, you could have maybe 10 lanes going to Kumasi, another 10 lanes coming here. Yes, accidents will happen, but majority of them could be contained. So when there is that wrong use of money, so is the personal life, you know. So it's the personal life. When there is poverty, there are troubles, you know, and so you would want to develop the skill to at least get beyond the threshold that creates a lot of pressure and stress. And it's so much important. And it's not really just because you have a good job. No. For you to create wealth, it goes beyond just having a good job. It also comes with some kind of discipline, some kind of skill to create more money than what comes in. You know, especially if you want to be the one who is a bit credible and honest. And so you're going to spend on the phone, you're going to spend on the rent, electricity. If you're building, you're going to spend. You buy water, you're going to spend. You buy clothes, you buy food. All those you're going to spend on them. And so you must as well track them. Because if you don't track them, it's going to create a problem for you. And once you don't have enough, you live in constant panic. You live in constant panic all the time because you have 1,000, but the family uses 2,000 every month. Then when it is the salary comes in, and 1 week is gone, then you have to start to lie, cheat. They send you in the workplace, you change the invoice, and you come home and you're not happy with it. It's not because you're a bad person. It's because you have underestimated the kind of financial discipline, the financial skills that you need, and the patience that you need to build something for the family. So if you're not tracking everything that comes to the family, you will see that at the end of the year, the family has nothing. At the end of the year, the business has nothing. So monitor the finances. It's so much important. Sometimes it's not just because we are thieves. It's because whatever comes in is that much little. And even if it's little, you still have to develop the discipline to monitor it. Because if you monitor it, then you may know at least that this one, I may not need it. Maybe the shoe that you bought could be there for the next 2 years after you don't have enough. So monitor it. You have 7 months from now to December. You should be able to know how much you're spending on every item at home. And if you have a startup, if you have a very young business, you should be able to monitor, because when they promise you that they are going to pay you the next month, it's almost like they won't pay you like the way they promise they'll pay you. So you should have allowance. So if you have 10,000 that you think that, let me spend it, especially those of us on projects, they have promised you that, spend the 50,000 and then the next month we'll pay you. And then somebody somewhere has to go and sign some check somewhere, and then you say that, that person has traveled. At the end of the month has come and you can't pay your boys because you just spent without going with the discipline, without going with the plan that you have, and it's because it's not, you have not developed it that much. So the same at the family level. The same. If you're a young man, monitor what goes out. If you don't monitor it, you are always creating a situation which you just have to go and cry and weep and beg people, and sometimes the money came. The only thing is that you spent it without knowing that it was money that you were spending. And most people, even though they say that they are not paid well, if they monitor what they spent from January to December, you see that some money came. The only thing is that you did not track them. So track them. They inform you. If you have 3-year tracking every month of the money that has come to you as a person and how you spent them, you'll be able to have some little changes somewhere, because not every money that you spent actually was meant to be spent, and you didn't even have to spend it. So there are a lot of things that you didn't have to spend. There are a lot of things that you could easily, maybe would have just saved it somewhere for some bad days because they come. If you have your rent is due, you have to go and cry to everybody. If you have an emergency hospital thing, you have to cry to somebody, and if they fail you, you become pain, especially if you helped them before. But if you had discipline and you said that, okay, I have 2,000, and so every month I'm going to spend 1,000, and I'm not going to go to that party, I'm not going to buy that thing, I'm not going to go for that funeral unless it's that much critical, and you live within some of this, until you're able to create a lot of revenue. And the essence of tracking and monitoring the expenditure or the expenses is so that you can really send the money to where it can go and bring in more money. So if you're a business person, you want to focus on where the business can grow revenue, because if the business has no revenue, if the business has no sales, you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. If you're not getting the revenue coming to the business, whether the revenue is coming in or not, is still spending. The electricity will go, the rent will go. If you have to, even if you are the one employee, you have to pay yourself. So monitor them is a big discipline. Sometimes we just cry and weep and talk, but we have no idea how much is going out of the business. No idea how much is going out of the family. No idea. We're just talking and crying and talking and crying, but we did not monitor it. And if you don't monitor it, then you will not have the discipline to even be ethical and be honest with your handlings, because then it doesn't matter. And one thing you can see is that people who are that, by heart, frivolous with money is because they tend to get free money. But if the money, you work for it and you didn't change anything, you want to study, you want to know, you want to stay within. And I think that if most people will go by that, they don't have to cheat and lie. You can still, unless you're a billionaire, you have to know where the money is going. If you have a lot of money, then it doesn't matter. But if you don't have 50 million somewhere and you have even if a million, you're going to live, if let's say you're going to live for 60 years or 70 years or maybe 80 years. What are you doing towards that? If you're not monitoring and you get to the 65 and they sack you from the workplace, are you going to wait for Senate? The discipline is so much important. So monitor the money, monitor the expenditure, and so that you can have something that you can do to expand the inflows. And if you're an entrepreneur and if you don't have that kind of skill, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you are always going to borrow and borrowing. By the time you see it, your whole idea is gone. You're under constant pressure. You go to this bank to borrow, you go to this individual to borrow. By the time you see it, you're everywhere, and the money that you even borrowed to do the project, they even put embargo on it, it's not coming. Now you are overstretched because you didn't monitor. Some of us will even sign loans without even monitoring what kind of interest that they are taking. You just, Masa, then by the time you see it, everything is gone. You go to discount all the projects, the certificate, discount them without tracking them because you're a contractor. It's because of this lack of not tracking what goes out of your business. So you have the big figure in your head, but the figure is gone before you even get it. And then your business is in trouble. The family is in trouble. Because most people, they just look at the salary, the bigness of the salary. I get 10,000 a month, and they don't monitor anything. They don't monitor. So they're on holiday, first class. They buy nice shoes. And they have worked for 20 years, and they have no money saved anywhere. If they are genuine. Because it's going to take your discipline to money. Even if you're paid 20,000 a month, you're still going to take your discipline, because I think that's really salary. At a point, salary does not, yes, of course you have to have a threshold, but because the more they increase their salary, the more they want to increase their lifestyle. Before he was living at La Paz, now he wants to live at East Legon, 10-bedroom house, drive Land Cruiser, because they have increased his salary. Now he buys nice suit, so it doesn't matter. But if they increase your salary to 20,000 and you could still manage, not that you want to live poor, but at least control the money so that you can get more and create the excess. Tomorrow, if they want to fire you, you're not crying, you're not weeping, you're not going for prayer camps, because you would have created excess. And that will come because you're tracking everything. You're tracking everything. You just don't give money like that. Throw money away and wait for miracle. Because finances are never miracles. Finances are discipline. Whether you have 1,000 or 200, it's discipline. Somebody is receiving 500. If it is discipline, at the end of every month, that person is able to save 100 Ghana. And somebody is receiving 10,000 at the end of every month, that's nothing. That's nothing, because it doesn't track them. It doesn't track them. And if the money is that, if you don't track them, then you compromise on your character. Then they call you, say, oh, come and sign this. You sign because you have raised your standard of living so high, and you know that you don't have the skill, the discipline to continue to bring in that kind of money and to grow it and to multiply it. So individuals are controlled by the kind of financial knowledge that they have. Individuals are controlled, companies are controlled, countries are controlled by the kind of financial decisions and choices that they have. And the best of it is the discipline. The discipline that you have to track everything that goes out. Everything that goes out. It will bring some kind of peace. At least if the woman knows that this is what went out, you print the sheet every month. Print it, this is what we spend, this is what is there. So what do you think? It makes you better. It resolves a lot of disagreements. If your partners, same. If your partners, because the one who is controlling the money will always be under suspicion. by the one who does not control the money. So they gave you 10,000. You say, oh, because when people give you 10,000, or when they receive 10,000 in their account, they think it's big. They think it's big. So, but they are the same people writing, oh, we need cement, we need this, we need this, and by the time you have 10 lists, the 10,000 is gone. But in their head, they still be thinking that they have 10,000. So if you don't track everything and you just spend it, when they ask, through the document, we spend this, we spend this, we spend this. Do you remember? Yes. So that's it. So there's nothing left. There's peace. But if you didn't track anything, they send this, you send it, send it, you send it, send it, you send it. And then they ask how much is left. Says nothing is left. No. They start to become suspicious of you. They think that you're a thief. You're not a thief. The money goes faster than it comes in, I tell you. It goes faster. So my name is Kwabena. I thank you for watching. So a lot of things are going to take the money. Track them. Discipline yourself. It's not difficult, but it's also not easy for you to say that I'm going to buy an exercise book and I'm going to write everything that we spend every day. It's tough. Sometimes you are tired. Sometimes you don't want to remember. Sometimes you even forget. It's okay. Write some. Even if you're able to do 50%, it's a discipline. At the end of the year, you will be able to know at least that MTN credit, I spent 2,000 on it. Or if you buy watch every day, you'll be able to track it, because most boys have an exaggerated opinion of their salary. That's why they take the girls, go and dance, and 100 cedis is gone, 200 is gone. You're paid 3,000. It's gone, and you're looking for it. It's no more there. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching.